Hey, what's up guys? This is Mark Yoon, bringing you another hopefully exciting video. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and what I wanted to talk about today that I have scheduled to do is the 3 remaining characters from the SOULCALIBUR legacy that are going to be included in Season Pass 3. I know there's been a lot of speculation on this. I've speculated on it in the past, but I wanted to give my biggest effort into, I guess, deriving who is going to be the last 3 characters. 2 of them are fairly simple, so I'm only going to gloss over them. It's the last one that really takes the cake for the possibilities, being that there are 3 characters that possibly fit that description, so narrowing it down to who fits it the most, and thinking business-minded, like using how they come up with their acumen to actually litigate these and figure out who is actually going to be in the passes. So we know about the leaked data codes from like a long time ago, from like last year. We obviously know that there was like Stone, Yell, Star, Snow, Reptile, and Yellow. And before Cassandra and Amy were released, this was released, and above them was Cassandra and Amy, right by Tira. So we know that they actually did release, and that gave a lot of credence to these mines. And since then, I have checked the mines myself, and the codes are still in the game. They haven't been taken out with any recent updates or anything like that. I talked about that and covered that in a previous video. But we have a few that are left. So we obviously know that the last characters, due to recent data mining, is going to be Setsuka, which name directly translates to snow, so she's taking up the snow category code, and then Yellow, which is Huang. So that's like the easiest to kind of get out of the way, and we already know that those 2 characters are gone. So that leaves us with 3 new codes for Season 3, plus 1 guest, being 4 characters, and probably 1 last character creation pack with like over 50 items, which would probably give us all the rest of the things that we are missing from SOULCALIBUR 5. So the 3 codes that we are left with is Stone, Star, and Reptile. Now obviously, Stone and Reptile are easy to get out of the way, because not many characters in the Legacy actually fit those descriptions, so everybody pretty much knows that Stone is going to be the return of Rock, and Reptile is going to be the return of the actual lizard man Aeon. What weapons he'll have this time is dual-wielded axes. That's left to be seen. Similarly with Rock, like, we don't know what he's going to come with, what weapon style he's going to utilize, but that's all to be said. But we know that those characters have the highest probability of filling those slots in, so I don't need to spend too much time on them. But the reason I wanted to make this video is to talk about the code STAR. STAR has many, many implications, and like, they can mean many different things. So talking about the code for what they mean, obviously Stone refers to rock, right? It refers, like, stones are rocks, you know, same thing. Reptiles are similar to lizards, so lizard man obviously would feel like reptiles. So that's what we're looking for in these codes. We're looking for something that points towards it. Snow, the reason that we know that Setsuka is Snow, because her name literally means snowflower. So, and now that we know that her code's like actually in the game. Yellow is obviously Huang, because the Korean character, when spelled with Hanja for his name, it actually is Yellow. Yell actually turned out to be Hilda because of her combat style, and we were left with a few remaining characters. So Star has a few contenders for who it could possibly be. Those contenders are Viola, Yoon, his family name is Hong, so it's Hong Young-sung. By the way, don't use the hyphen when you're writing his name, that's not how you write it. And Algol. So obviously a lot of people are pointing towards Algol as their main descriptor of who is going to probably take up that slot for Star, and I have an argument against that. But let's look at the argument for it first. So Algol, which is also a constellation known as Beta Persei, Algol is one of the best-known variable stars in the sky and a prototype for a class of eclipsing variable stars known as Algol variables. It is a triple star system composed of Beta Persei Alpha A1 and a B-class main sequence star Beta Persei Alpha A2. an orange subsidiant, and Beta Persei AB, a dimmer A-class star. So that's the actual constellation of it. So obviously with a name like Star being coded into the game, and you have a character whose name literally is a star in a constellation, and is also known colloquially by scientists as the demon star, and he is very, I don't want to say evil, but he is a character who is an antagonist, so that lends credence to him being in there. Now let's look at this from a pragmatic standpoint, because that's one thing that we have to learn. Algol is a huge card that SOULCALIBUR has to play. We can't put all our cards in the deck for SOULCALIBUR 6. SOULCALIBUR 6 leading to SOULCALIBUR 7 is based on finances and numbers alone. That's it. It's not how well it's received. It's not the critical rating. It's based on how many copies it moves and how much money it makes. Revealing Algol to be an extra character in DLC is not very pragmatic of a move for Bandai Namco to allow Project Soul to do. And the reason being is because the way the story is going right now, it can lead up to a confrontation with Algol. Because SOULCALIBUR 6 is a soft reboot of the series, and it's retelling the events from SOULCALIBUR 1 and 2, we do have an eventual lead up, possibly in SOULCALIBUR 7 with Algol. And if Algol is to be redesigned and playable again, I believe he would be the main antagonist of the next game. Perhaps that's why we got Aswell in this one, is because they wanted to lead him up, and they wanted to give us a new story by introducing a few new characters, such as Grow. I believe filling in the spots for Sway, but we may see a return of him as well, and that's also my argument for the next character. But if let's say they put Algol in the game. Alright, Algol's in the game, boom. He's just DLC. This is not technically SOULCALIBUR 6 as SOULCALIBUR 6 should be known. This is a retelling and a reboot of the franchise. It's SOULCALIBUR 1 and 2, right? So for a character that's never been in this version of the SOULCALIBUR history up until this point, Algol is a pretty big deal, and I don't think they're just going to throw him away by like making him DLC and then explaining it later on. They're going to reintroduce him in a big way, and I believe it's going to be something akin to the sequel game, him being the main villain. There's a lot of, like I said, fiscal and pragmatic reasons why they would hold him off. You don't like throw your whole cards out in the beginning of the table. This series was literally begged for by Okubo, by Bandai Namco, to get into fruition, and it's held very tight to the chest from Bandai Namco. They're watching it. So we do know that like his name is a star, right? A star constellation. So that's one good reason, but we have two other candidates. I don't believe Algol is going to be the character that's in this game. Personally, I could be wrong, but I don't see them from a business standpoint putting him in the game this early without actually giving him some big lead up. I think it would take away a lot of the steam for SOULCALIBUR 7. I think it would also interfere with any story that they have planned for the game, because they're going to have to introduce him in a story in his own version of this game, and they're not just going to do a retelling of 5 or 4, because those games are not considered in this, just referenced. So that's my thing for why I think I don't think Star is the cover for Algol. A lot of people still do. You're allowed to have that opinion. I really think you do. But I don't think it's Algol. Now, someone who, to me, has a more likely of a chance of it being, and also equally not likely, is Viola. Now, to be fair, Viola is the character that I want to be Star. Probably equally or more so than the last character. Now, I'm going to show on screen her quotes, because she doesn't have anything directly linking herself to stars, but it's more of celestial bodies, if that makes sense. Like, she references Moon a lot, and she also references Star somewhat. I think the only thing she really only says that to is she says Fall, Star of Chaos, spoken when performing a back grapple on Viola, Edgemaster, Algol, and Kilik. So she uses a lot of vernacular colloquially that references celestial bodies, but mainly it's about moons. Her whole thing is based on moons. There is blue moon, full moon, new moon, crimson moon, crescent moon, the moon shall fall. The only things that she has that references stars are the stars will shine and fall, star of chaos. And she also has a few moves that utilize this. But like I said, I hope that she is the character, but Viola to me is technically the least likely of the characters because Star is just referenced lightly for her character. It's not heavily implied upon as it is the other two. So her likelihood for me is a little bit dismantled by that notion, but I also really want her in, so I'm going to try to hold out complete disbelief that it's going to be her until we get any more information. But you know where I stand with that. I'm just being honest. The last one comes down to Hong Young-sung. So his name, that's how it's pronounced with Hanja, which is the Korean pronunciation of the Chinese characters. That's literally what that means. But in Hangul, which is Korean language, his name is actually pronounced Hong Yoon-song. So Yoon-song is actually the way you're properly supposed to pronounce his name. There is no hyphen, just getting that out of the way. But Song, which is part of his actual name, not his family name, in Chinese means star. So in Mandarin, it literally means star, and that's how you can see it written out in Hanja on the screen. Just as Huang in Chinese means yellow or sulfur. A Huang definitely is going to be for yellow that we know, and I mean, Huang's not even his name, that's like his colloquial name. But when we're talking about Hong Young-sung, it's definitely star. If you even look more directly at the characters, when you're looking at the Chinese character for it, it's actually pronounced in Korean, in Hangul, Byol. So his name would be Byol-song, which literally is the translation of star. It's literally the exact translation. There's arguments against him saying that, Yoon-sung is a clone of Huang, or at least that's how he got his proper start. So why would we have two people in the game with the same weapon styles? And the argument for that is easy. They're going to introduce a new weapon style, and they're going to give it to Yoon-sung. The only other problem I see with this is that they try to balance, it seems, the way that the DLC runs, but the last DLC pack had 2B, and it also had Hilda, and I think Cassandra was in 1, I forget. So they try to variable out the ratios, but I believe there was more, as many girls as guys, if not more. So this one could be all males. So I'm not sure if it really leans on Viola. I really think that Yoon-sung is going to be the choice. Don't dislike the video just because it's my opinion. I want to actually hear what you have to say in the comments section about that. But that's just what I believe based on the evidence that it's going to be. Because his name in Hanja and Hangul literally translates to star directly. It's not a star constellation like Algol is. It's not referenced in movesets like Viola. His name directly means star, which is the same as the other characters who were directly impacted by their code names. Reptile being Lizard Man, Snow being Setsuka, Huang being Yellow. These are all directly results of name translations, not anything else. So that's the best evidence that I have to say that I think the last character that's filling in the place for Star is going to be Yoon-sung, and I think they're going to completely redesign the character because Huang is the one that's seen in Sungmina's story, so Yoon-sung has complete and total ability to be redesigned after Huang is released. Hopefully they make him actually more traditionally Korean and give him more of a Korean weapon style. But this is a chance for us to have a brand new weapon style into the game, and hopefully that's why he's taken so long and put to the last pack to be worked on and developed. It also depends on which character is going to be the guest character, which is going to have money thrown at it in order for this pack to be developed and cross-referenced, which is why I think it's going to be Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII. that's Square Enix is the only company that's got really the push and the backburn and the finances to push this through, and maybe that's why they were negotiating for him to be last, to end on a high note. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to a close. Let me know what you thought about the video. I tried to be as informative as possible. If there's anything that I missed, drop it down there as well below. Please don't argue in the comment section. We can have discussions, but I don't want to see anyone yelling at each other. And like that, we're going to bring it to a close and just go over the information yourself and try to see if there's anything that like you agree with or you disagree with. And I'm waiting to hear from you. As always, guys, peace.